We were sold on having a cozy fireplace for our new living room, and boy did we aim high. Restoring our 100-year-old fireplace and bringing it up to standard, we used some custom concrete molds and a hell of a lot of brain power to bring this finish together.
Hello? Hello? Good morning, everybody. We are back into the fireplace. So the other day we caught up with our installer for the Canara and pointed out some bits and pieces that we need to do to make this thing compliant. So with our box that we've bought with our Canara, the Firebox, this particular model needs to be situated inside of an entirely non-combustible area. So of course we've got everything open at the moment. We've re-bricked it so it's nice and centered to the room. However, it still has a lot of openness to the top and the front, obviously. So what we need to do is pretty much encase everything so that when we slide the box in, no fire can actually get out through the front or the top if there was to be anything sort of combusting inside that chamber area. So it just needs to be completely sealed off, which means back to some brickwork. So what I'm going to do this morning is set up a bit of a base for our firebox to sit on, or the whole fireplace to sit on, because we don't want it really low to the ground. We want it to sit up a little bit so you don't have to stare down at the fire. So I'm going to just put some bricks on their edge and mortar them in place so it has a really strong base, and obviously all out of brickwork and cement, which is going to be great, non-combustible. And then I'm going to brick up some sides and around and over the top, which sets us up to finishing the top section, which is going to get a little bit tricky, a little bit non-conventional the way we're going to do it. However, it's the best thing for our scenario. So with my installer and I brainstormed yesterday and came up with the idea that we're going to be putting in some center supports, so maybe some steel or something like that through the middle here to support the sag. We've been putting some cement sheet on top of that, and then actually pouring another slab, believe it or not, on top of the fireplace here with a section for the flue to come up and out. Again, the reason being for that is so that no fire, if anything, inside here gets up through the top, because we're going to have timber and everything supporting the boxing above the fireplace. We don't want anything like that to be at risk of fire. Of course, this house has gone through enough in the past, but we want to make sure that nothing gets out through the top. So that is going to be like almost a 50mm concrete slab on top. So there's a little bit of prep work to do there. And of course, we've got some steel lintels to put in to support our nice new facade that we're going to be pouring, and the brickwork itself. Alright, so I've done something really exciting here, and I've actually slid the thing in, and it looks so good. It's fit the space really well. It's great to see that I've got my measurements right because it fit. But we're sitting it in there and it's looking really good now. After a few back and forths with some brickwork there, we finally got it to right the height. And I also was making things really difficult for myself with that bit of steel lintel for the support of our fascia. So for the time being, I'm gonna delete it and we're going to come back to it because it's causing me too much grief at the moment trying to make this whole setup work. But anyway, we are getting on to now setting up the top of the fireplace now. So here I've got all my bits and pieces for the flue. We've got our triple skin. I've got my adapter piece that's going to fit. So here I'm just measuring out some cement sheet to go on top. This is going to be the base of our slab. I'm probably going to use 2 layers of cement sheet here. It's only 4.5mm, but it's a really small opening, so this is really strong. So pouring concrete over it is, and we're only doing a 50mm slab as well. It's going to be a nice small slab, so not too much weight bearing down on this bit of cement sheet here, so I should do it really well. But I'm measuring out my flue just to make sure I can get it nice and central. We can't see in there. Making sure we get it nice and central to the slab and our firebox so that when we put our flue up, everything fits nice and snug. So we're going to start to set this up now. I'm going to try and attach this to the cement sheet, some screws or some pop rivets or something like that. And then we're going to form up this top and hopefully pour it really soon. last night I made a start on the stonework for the fireplace, and the first piece of this puzzle is the hearth underneath. Now you'll notice behind us, and what we've done in previous videos as well, is we've poured a concrete hearth. That goes right under into the brick cavity and is also what the fireplace is sitting on as well, on top of some more bricks as well, indeed. But what this is essentially just a sleeved covering for the hearth. Now, we wanted that big build up. We've got some flooring to go on this side, and we wanted this really raised level slab to sort of stand out and then form the hearth of the fireplace. But we didn't want to do it all in this more expensive material, being the GFRC concrete. So instead we poured half of it in the concrete thickness and then just a sleeve top, which is pretty much going to slide over the top of this and cover it up and make it look like it's actually one big thick piece of slab stone, but really it's actually just a thinner piece of GFRC concrete with some big thick edges, so it's going to look nice and solid around the edges too. So we're going to unbox this bad boy and check out, have a look at the finish. This is our first big piece of white concrete as well. We've done no idea how this turned out. Our samples were like all whichever way with what colour we were getting, so I'm really excited to see what we get out of this one.
What would I get?
Ooh, what do we think? Oh, it's pretty white.
Very white. Very cool. They lower it down.
Yeah.
Alright, so we've just polished our bench top, just give it a little once over. I didn't want to go too much off it because that white cement has a really thin layer of coating on top of it, so if you polish it too much it actually gets rid of the white colour. So I want to try and keep that as much as possible, so I gave it a nice quick skim over. It's super smooth, so that's just drying to the side. I'm just going to prep our tile adhesive, which is what we're going to use to stick the slab down to the concrete. So this is going to allow a really good adhesive, but also once it dries, it's going to give that constant support so that when people walk on top of it, it's going to have all that strongness underneath. So this is definitely going to be the way to go.
Looks nice.
That's it. Push it in. Give it a big push. That's it.
Welcome back to the workshop. Thought I'd give you a little update with how I'm tracking today. I haven't done too much filming with the making of what looks to be a skate ramp, but actually it's our formwork for our curved mold, which is fairly complex. It's kind of doing my head in a little bit, but I think I'm finally getting somewhere with it. So essentially, with all this concrete GFRC work, we're pouring everything back to front. So what I've had to do is to try and create this curved detail. I've spent some time today cutting out some PVC pipe to look like a little bit of a curve. So this is about just less than a quarter of a 75mm bit of PVC pipe that I've just ripped down into a little strip. So that's giving us a nice little radius. So what I'm going to do here is line a curve inside this formwork, which I'm going to use a bit of melamine, if I can find one of my studs here. So I've just ripped down some 20-30mm melamine. I'm going to use this as essentially stud work that's going to go all the way around, and then I'm going to line it with some PVC or some plastic sheet just so I can glue these onto that, and then these will glue in the curve as well. So it once it's poured and we strip it, the underside, which will be the finished side of the curve, will be a compound curve all the way around. Super tricky. I know you're probably thinking, what the F is he talking about? But let me show you.
Wow, so we can just like sand that down. That is beautiful. The colour's even beautiful.
It's actually worked out really lovely, hasn't it?
Wow, that's gorgeous.
Alright, so now that we've pulled our second one out of the mould, it's time to install them, which is really exciting. This is the second one behind me, which is sort of just sitting in place at the moment with a few packets just to get it right before we start to glue it off. So I'm going to be doing some cement sheet over the top of this timber just so that the adhesive's got something nice and strong to grab to rather than timber. It's probably not a great substrate. And I'm just pretty much going to glue it to the concrete hearth that we poured as well. So it's got both of them set up now, but now I'm going to add the cement sheet, glue it up and stick them in. Nice.
Wow.
Oh, there's a big one there, but their other ones are pretty good.
I love it.
Fold that down.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love it. It's beautiful. It's so smooth. It's beautiful.
stand on the timber. Slide it across to you, just plonk its butt on that bit of angle. That's it, and then just push. Right, no, that's fine, you can, it's fine.
You sure?
You can work, it's not going anywhere. Once that glue's holding it, it's done.
You sure?
Yes, honey. Let go.
So scary.
This was a huge effort that spanned over multiple months to create. We had a lot of back and forth with our installer to ensure it was compliant, but most of all efficient. The fluted concrete curves was something we dreamed of doing and are so proud of how it's all come together. If this project has inspired you and you'd like to learn more, please comment below as we'd love to take you further into our journey. If you'd like to see more content, don't forget to subscribe. We have some great footage coming up that we can't wait to show you.